Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on a roll, here we go. Yeah, we winning by a landslide. Never see me coming, I'm a landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command like, yeah, you about to see me on demand like, you know on demand. If you ain't know, you about to understand. Yeah, I got the team by my side, right hand. Yeah, take it to a string, you ain't seen it like that. Yeah, and it's the dream, and we coming for the bag. Yeah, and we ain't never going back now. Future expedited, now we on the fast track now. They won't lend a hand, now they see us on the map now. It's time to act out. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on the roll, here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on a roll, ayy, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know, yeah. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, yeah. On the roll, here we go, here we go. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on the roll, here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on a roll, ayy, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know, yeah. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, yeah. On the roll, here we go, here we go. Here we go. On a roll, here we go, here we go.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Frankie Candles. Why did I almost say the Frankie Candles Bitcoin? The Frankie Candles live stream every single weekday right here at 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, guys. I apologize for the delay. I got stuck in a little bit of traffic, but shout out to Mrs. Candles and her amazingly smelling hands. Guys, I pulled up. She opened up the OBS. She opened up the YouTube studio. She had the Andromeda-bound alien scam water already pre-hydrogenated, ready to go. Cold Aztecian cactus moss water ready to go. Shout out to Mrs. Candles, is the real goat here. She had the cameras on. She had everything ready to go. Shout out to Mrs. Candles. I appreciate you. But guys, we got an amazing show for you tonight with some not too amazing price action on Bitcoin. As Mystic Ruin said in the chat, Bitcoin is definitely also stuck in traffic right now, just sitting where it's been sitting for quite some time. So we're going to be talking about Bitcoin. Are we potentially going to see some lower prices, guys? Are we going to hit that 37K level we were looking at on our last live stream? Could we potentially see a bigger move down to 34K? We're going to take a look at the charts, take a look at the indicators, take a look at those liquidation heat maps, and try to figure out if we're going to get that move down or if we can recover from where we're at right now. So it's going to be a saucy one. Smash that like button, guys. Every 100 likes we get gives you guys extra chances to win some free crypto on tomorrow's live stream, where we will be spinning the Wheel of Pain and Pleasure, as well as doing our giveaway. And if we get 550 likes on tonight's live stream, we will be giving away a caramel and black, if you guys can see that, caramel and black Frankie Candles hat for 550 likes on the live stream. But with all that being said, guys, shout out to Bubba's Crypto. Thank you so much for those. Thank you so much for giving those 5 Frankie Candles memberships. Shout out to Joseph Gilbert. What is going on, bro? Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you for tuning in. We got Stupid Bitcoin in the chat. Crimson Caravan Company, along with Crimson's girlfriend, tuning in. Poor Man Joe, Wick featuring Let's effing go. Shout out to Wick. I love that new name, bro. We also got Incognito. We got Dave Digital. As always, good to see you, brother. Bubba's Crypto in the chat, dropping those memberships. You are the best. And Dave Digital dropping those ring emojis out here. I think Mrs. Candles might be watching today, Dave. But shout out to Dave. Yeah, she's definitely wifey material. That is for sure. Anna Maria in the chat said yes. And you okay, Mystic? Shout out to Mystic. I hope you're doing well, bro. But guys, thank you all for tuning in. And without further ado, I don't want to spend too much time here on the face cam because we got to look at this crazy Bitcoin price action because have you guys seen it? Bitcoin absolutely ripped just now. So let's go ahead and jump into the charts. As you can see, come on over here to the live stream chart. Bitcoin, guys, absolutely massive pump here. Let's see, what do we get? About 0.08% in the last 5 minutes. Absolutely insane price action, guys. Can we hit 100K next? I'm just kidding, guys. I'm just kidding. But obviously, guys, kind of lackluster price action on Bitcoin. I apologize for the canceled stream yesterday, but it actually turned out not being a bad day to skip the live just because we are simply just still sitting down here where we were yesterday, right? So I want to cover, I'm not going to cover too much long-term price action here, but we do have to check in on the indicators on the higher time frames because this will likely give us insight into where price is going to go in the medium term rather than in the next 5 minutes. Now, weekly, guys, weekly VWAP is still below that zero line. Nothing really to take away from here. This could kind of go either way, right? If we wind up getting a bounce, we'll see that curve up quickly. So nothing really to take away here on the weekly, but let's come down to some of these lower daily time frames. And you do have your 3-day VWAP starting to flatten out here, potentially looking to get a push back to the upside. And one interesting thing I am looking at here on the 3-day here, guys, is if we do wind up, let's say, even if we get a push down to 37K, which is not too far away at this point, we'll take a look at that in just a second. But if we do wind up getting that curve back to the upside, cross over that zero line, and get the green dot here on Market Cipher B, we are simply going to have a beautiful little anchor trigger wave setup, right? Where you have those tight trigger waves that are close to the zero line, and then you got this big old anchor wave that crosses that -60 line on Market Cipher B, and this is oftentimes where you're able to see at least some kind of a move to the upside, well, not only on your momentum wave, but also on your price action, right? So this is one thing we can look at in the long term to try to anticipate a move up, but more locally here, guys, coming down to the 2-day and the daily, this is kind of the thing we were looking at 2 days ago on the last live stream, saying, hey, if we are going to get that move back up, potentially up to some local levels of resistance, which again, we'll take a look at in a second, but likely that next significant move to the upside, guys, that daily green dot is kind of what I would be looking at. We may actually wind up starting to print this in about an hour and 6 minutes once we close that next daily candle. So this is going to be a big thing to look at if you guys do have Market Cipher. Again, whether we are going to get the move from here or if we're going to get that last little dip down to that next key level that we were looking at 2 days ago on the last live stream, I will be looking at this daily green dot to likely give us that move back to higher prices where we will also be giving the levels of resistance. Now, coming on over to the 90-minute, guys, this is kind of how I approach yeah, shout out to Deepak says, time for 34K. We are definitely going to get into that, but we still have our money flow coming out on the daily, indicating that this likely, the probability is somewhat high that with the money flow continuing to come out here, guys, this is a little bit more of a bearish sign. And I hate to be the guy saying things are bearish when I think a lot of people are looking for massive, massive bounces here. Now, I'm not against the camp of breaking these yearly highs, and I'm actually going to go over a scenario where I could potentially see that yearly high getting taken sooner than later. And it's all an if this, then that statement, guys, because remember, trading is a game of trapping and not hunting, right? So we have to be prepared in either direction. So overall, daily green dot looking to print, but which could give us a move up, but because the money flow is coming out, we would anticipate this to be a lackluster move to the upside before putting in a lower high and rejecting back down to lower prices. And who knows, maybe that could be where we wind up getting the move down to the POC. Because you have to remember, guys, we have to keep that volume profile theory in our head where once you reject that value area high, the next likely place for price to go is going to be that point of control. Now, it is a little bit of a specific situation here because with these macro ranges, it's not necessarily, we can treat this like a volume profile, but at some point, guys, just because we rejected this value area high does not necessarily mean that we are going to 100% come down to the value area low. This is, it's no guarantee, but oftentimes we will see that next likely place for price to go is that POC. And we know that it's it's not just going to be a straight drop. It's oftentimes not an instant shoot to the next value area level, and we can see that right here. Once we held support on the POC here, we were expecting the next likely place to be for price to go was going to be that value area high, which wound up playing out like almost to the dollar, right? So, but look at the map. It was kind of messy, right? We came up, we came back down, we came up, we came back down, we came up, we came back down, we came up, back down, ranged around, up, down, and then finally we came up to hit it, right? So we have to anticipate some kind of noise here. And the money flow was letting us know that once we came up here and claimed the POC as support, money flow was coming up, indicating higher prices were likely, or that macro trend was going to continue to the upside. So many things were pointing to that, and we're using the same theory in the opposite direction here, right? So we get the drop down. Actually, hang on one second. Let me jump on the bat phone real quick for you guys. Not for you guys, but for me. Let's see. Bear with me. Let's see. Okay, boom. Anyway, so we're not expecting this to just be an instant drop to the POC, so we are expecting some kind of noise here. And with that green dot on the daily, we could expect a lackluster move to the upside before putting that lower high in and a move to the downside because of our money flow, right? The higher term trend is likely to continue to the downside, with our next major target being the POC. Now, this is in the medium to longer term, right? We're not expecting this to happen tomorrow or today. Now, coming up to the 12-hour, VWAP is rolling back over here to the downside just a little bit. 8-hour red dot has been lingering almost all day, right? We were talking to the premium Discord earlier today saying, hey, 8-hour VWAP coming down on top of the money flow on our 30-minute coming out. We could have gotten a move down, but we actually wound up never getting the red dot because you guys know we look at this a lot on the channel. Typically, when you see those 8-hour red dots with your money flow coming out, crossing over into the red, this is oftentimes where you see some kind of a significant move come in here. But again, we just simply did not print that red dot. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into some of the local price action because this is likely, if we do come down to 34K, it is going to take a little bit longer than a lot of people would expect, right? So looking locally here, you guys know, let me turn off our macro volume profile really, really quickly here, right? So you guys know there's kind of two major ranges that we're looking at. The macro volume profile pulled from this major range up here on the top of the bull market. And then we also have this May 2022 value area, which is kind of the one that I am focusing on a little bit more here. And kind of the same deal here, right? We got below the value area low. We got stuck underneath it. We came right down. You expect to get to the POC. We came down beautifully right to that point of control. Very similar situation as the macro volume profile that we just looked at, but obviously it was a little bit of a messy ride down, right? You come down, you put a lower high, or lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high. If we put in that lower low, guys, that next key level of support is the same one that we were looking at 2 days ago, and it is the value area low of the range. And it's also confluent with some significant Fibonacci levels, right? So we have our 786. This is nothing new. We've looked at this on the live stream, but again, price is just kind of wiggling around here. But next significant area and kind of the next area that I would be more confident in taking a long position. I do have a scalp long that is still kicking in here, right? So we do come up. I am covered in a little scalp position. But again, guys, you know, with the 8-hour red dot lingering, with the come over to the 4-hour red dot just printed, and this does look like it could have been a blood diamond. There you go. So we do have that 4-hour blood diamond, which could easily bring us down to this next key level. And I don't really want to overcomplicate things here because it's shout out to Norm30 said ETH rejected money flow is money's going back into BTC. Potentially, we'll take a look at Ethereum in just a second, but this 4-hour blood diamond, guys, could potentially push us down to the value area low. It is also the 786 retracement of this. Where'd it go? Of this fib pull, right? We came down, bounced off the golden pocket. Now we could potentially be going for that 786. And in my opinion, this is kind of that next significant area of support. So if we do come back down here, not only is it the 786, you also have the value area low, typically where we like to look for long positions. As you deviate, even if you deviate below, this is oftentimes where you find those confirmations to ride back up into the value area, get you moved back up to your POC, and then hopefully eventually back up to your value area high. So as far as the medium-term price action here, guys, this is kind of what, nothing has really changed here, right? We're just kind of looking at the same range. But I do want to take a look at our local value area, which is right here. So And let me get rid of this fib real quick. Actually, you know what? I'll just delete all the blue box as well. And I'm going to take away this value area because there's many ways that we could look at the market, right? And the three main things that I'm looking at, again, coming to the 2-day, these two main value areas. I like to give this stuff because this is just pure value. You can take this information and go right to the charts right after this live stream and apply this information and actually use it, right? So macro volume profile pulled from the top of the bull market. That is range number 1. That is our macro blueprint. So if things start getting really ugly, I'm kind of like, if things just start nuking here and we jump right past, or we dump right past our next key levels of support, which I'm going to get into some of the lower levels here. But if we just continue to come down and things get ugly, and you start to feel that panic, excuse me. That's where I'm flipping on this macro volume profile, being like, where's that POC? 34.4, definitely a key level. And again, we're much further away from the bottom of this range, the value area low coming in at 28.8K. But it's another level that you definitely want to have marked out on your chart in case we get some kind of crazy bearish news or something crazy happens. This is the macro blueprint. Now, we can hide this, right? If you guys are not using folders in your TradingView templates or just on your TradingView charts, I highly recommend this. It keeps everything nice and organized. So if that's the macro range that we're looking at, and then the May 2022 range is that local range we pulled from this consolidation, and this is kind of the more local levels that I'm looking at. And within, as I'm looking at these levels, I'm also incorporating this volume profile that we just broke down out of as well, right? So that's kind of like the major things that I'm looking at right now, or the major kind of ranges of price action that I'm looking at, and kind of how I get a good, I like to say like a blueprint of what's going on with price, right? If you're looking at this stuff, whether we get rips to the upside, dumps to the downside, these levels are likely going to get respected in some manner. And if they're not, if these local levels are not going to get respected, if we just wind up yeeting right through the POC and then right through the value area low, we know, hey, hide this range, bring this range back up. Hey, look at that. We got the POC right here. This is our next level. So there you go. But let's jump down into this local price action, right? So we have decisively broken out of this range, guys. And in my opinion, until we reclaim, like right now, 40K is the key level of resistance. There's kind of two key levels of resistance here. Number one is $40,000, right? Also, very, very close to the range low here, or the actual wick low of this entire area of consolidation. Comes in at about 40,181. $40,000, the psychological level of about $40,000 even is obviously going to be a very key level as well, and we are just kind of battling that $40,000. So key level or key zone of resistance number one is going to be between $40,181 and about $40,000 even, right? So until we wind up reclaiming these levels, I am going to remain looking down towards those lower prices that we just looked at, right, on the volume profile. So let's see. Turn that purple for resistance. So key level of resistance number one is going to be the zone around 40K. And then after that, your next key level is going to be the value area low, right? So let me label this value area low. If we wind up coming back up, here's the thing, right? There's kind of a few different ways that you can handle these trades. We can look for confirmations below the value area to try to ride it back in, right? Oftentimes, that's what I like to do. If you're using the Frankie Candles Essential Indicator, right? If we just go ahead and search that. If you guys are not using this, I highly recommend you check it out. It's 100% free. Just search Frankie Candles. It's Frankie Candles Essentials. Make sure it's by Lux Algo so you know you have the right one. But this is kind of a lot of what this indicator is based around is what I typically look for within the value areas to actually look for entry opportunities. And it is when you deviate below the value area and get certain divergences or certain other confirmations as you deviate below that level. And then that is what winds up printing the sauce cans that if you're using the indicator, you should be very familiar with, right? Now, this is not a buy and sell indicator. It's not every time you see a sauce can, you long or short. That is simply not how it works. But that is... You're supposed to be using these as a confirmation signal, right? So if we just come in here, we come down to a, let's see, we're not really getting any confirmations here as of right now. But yeah, you can see these sauce cans, right? So once you deviate above the volume profile, it is going to be looking for specific confirmations. What just happened? It just disappeared. TradingView's glitching me out right now. There you go. You deviate, and then you wind up getting specific confirmations. That prints the sauce can, and then at that point, you would be looking to ride this back into the value area, targeting the POC and the value area low, which, if you were trading this, you'd be looking at your point of control as TP1. And if we actually came down to a lower time frame, there we go. You could actually see what these Like what actually happened here was we came out of the value area and we actually wound up putting in some bearish divergences up here with money flow coming out, indicating that, hey, you might get accepted back into the volume profile, TP1, POC, TP2, usually the value area low unless you had significant levels in between. So I just bring that up to talk about kind of why the two different ways we can kind of handle this price action here, right? So I am either looking at the deviation from the volume profile as the confirmations to get in. But really, what you also could do if you want to be a little bit more conservative and that is what this scalp was based off of, right? The scalp long that I'm in right now, I think is at about break even. But it was based off the bullish confirmations as we deviated below the value area, but it is slightly more dangerous, right? Because you're still below a key level of resistance. So what I would look for if I was more conservative is a flip of that $40,000 level. And then, I mean, if you want to be even more confident, you would just wait until you get back into your value area and you start holding that value area low as support, right? Because we know once you hold that level as support, it is likely that you're going to get a move back up to the POC and then potentially the value area high. So that is kind of where you'd wait to come back up here, go down to a lower time frame as we typically do, and you could look for your lower time frame confirmations, whatever you typically look at, right? For me, I look at many different things, right? We'll look at order flow, we'll look at divergences, money flow, Lux algo confirmations, many, many, many things. So but just to kind of explain why I got into that position down here, it was based off confirmations below the value area. But it is a little bit more of a risky trade, especially understanding that we have that value area low sitting here at 37.6. Now, what happens if we crash down below 37.6? Well, we actually have a lot of key levels, right? Next real serious level of support that I would be looking at. What are these must-hold levels? No, that's not them. Macro levels. Those are far away. Yeah, and also, guys, by the way, just want to bring this up. These two naked daily points of control, you will remember we talked about these forever ago. These two naked daily points of control are one of the big reasons why we were expecting that move down to these levels, right? So, and here we are. That's exactly where we're getting the bounce from. So, I am in a higher risk trade here. However, we did come down to our key level. We did get the reactions and some of the confirmations I was looking at. But again, because of the reasons I just mentioned, I would not be surprised if we get a move down to this value area low. And then if we get confirmations at this value area low, that is where I am seriously looking to load up on a bigger trade as long as I get my confirmation. So this is a small scalp. If we come down here, I'm much more interested in a more serious, higher capital trade, right? Now, if we wind up losing these levels, the next level I'll be looking at, and you can see we also have a monthly level just below this value area low, adding a little bit of backstop of support, but that is essentially in the same zone. Between 37,000 and 36,000, there is a whole plethora of levels, guys, like a whole lot of levels that we can look at in here as support. But again, keeping it very simple, watching the volume profile. Simply put, looking for longs at the lows, shorts at the highs. Now, what if we get the move to the upside, right? What if we do come up from here, or even if we wind up coming down first and then coming back up here? What am I going to be looking at for a potential move up? Well, like we just said, on the higher time frames, with the daily money flow coming out, we would obviously be expecting the trend to continue down. So what we would be looking for is a lackluster move to the upside, a bing bang, right? A lackluster move to the upside to put some lower highs in and continue down. Where are those lower highs likely to come in? Well, luckily, we actually have some pretty clear levels of resistance. Number one, above us, once we get above this value area low, because you guys know we need to get above this level to continue higher. And once we do, the next key levels of resistance are going to be the POC, and the real level that I like to watch is going to be this value area high with the golden pocket confluence, right? So if we pull our fib from the high all the way down to the low here, you can see we have some kind of confluence between our golden pocket and our value area high right here, right? So if we come up, simply put, not only is it likely to put a lower high in either at the golden pocket or the 786 retracement, but when you have that golden pocket in very good confluence with that value area high, we're already looking for potential shorts at the value area high, and knowing that that golden pocket just above is a very likely place to put that lower high in at. If we deviate above that value area high, this is where we are going to get those confirmations. If we are going to get them, this is where we're going to be looking for them. And if we get them, that's likely going to be, hey, bearish confirmations, this could be the lower high. That's where I'd be looking for a short. And then the targets would be simply to bring it back down to the value area low. But because we know that daily money flow is coming out, we could take partial profit here, leave a little bit of a moon bag, and then if we break down out of the range, which would be expected based on the volume profile, the money flow on the daily, then we would look down to lower prices to take out this low at 38.4 and potentially come down to our next key level, which again is at that value area low with the monthly just underneath. So these are the key levels, guys. Not too much changed, right? Not too much has changed. Just kind of really just bing-bonging around here. Key levels remain almost exactly the same. And, simply put, guys, we're looking at the volume profiles, right? Like the volume profiles make this market so much easier to read, right? Shout out to the Aztecian Cactus Moss Water. But, hey, shout out to, hold up. Oh, what flavor is this? Astro Vibe Aztecian Cactus Moss Water Blue Raspberry Edition. Let's go. Shout out to Bubba's Crypto. Thank you for the $10. Dude, come on. Thank you for that $10 super chat, bro. You did not have to do that. He says, starting Let's Get Dave. Let's get Dave a blue name fund. Shout out to Bubba's Crypto. Dave, dude, if we gave Dave a blue wrench, well, I guess it is a blue wrench, but if we gave Dave a blue name, he would no longer be our most official, official mod. He would just be an official mod. I feel like Dave has a special, he's a special elite type of mod. He's the only one with a wrench-colored wrench. But shout out to Dave Digital. I don't even see him. Oh, there he is. Shout out to Dave. And shout out to Jessica, our female CandleMafia representative in the house. Dave shouting her out. Let's go. But let's see. Stupid Bitcoin says, girls don't want rings. They want wifey coin. Shout out to Stupid Bitcoin. And shout out to Bubba's Crypto. Gifting memberships, dropping the super chats. I appreciate you so much, bro. But let's see here. Yeah. Shout out to Crypto Paradox. Says 60 days before the halving, typically, historically, the best DCA window you'll get. Obviously, if you didn't buy at the bottom, which a lot of people don't do, right? A lot of people miss the bottom. It's not a hard thing to do, right? It's easy to miss the bottom, especially if you don't know what you're looking at on the charts. But that's why DCAing is a winning strategy, right? You can buy a little here, you dump, you buy a little here, you buy a little here, little here, little here, little here, dump again, little down here. You get a nice average buy-in price, and then when you're in the bull market of 2025, you're simply going to look back and say, hey. Even if your average price is here, it's like, I basically bought the bottom of the bear market, right? Because if we run up, say, upwards of 100K, right? When you're up here, you're not going to care too much if you bought down here or up here or down here or up here. You're just going to look back in time and be like, oh, I bought the bottom, right? So, and that is true, right? Typically, like if we go back to 2019, you can see after we hit that same macro golden pocket retracement, we look at this almost every single day. But if you look at the macro golden pocket retracement, we basically, from that peak, after we had the MasterCard Visa crypto integration news, that kind of marked the top here. And then we wound up getting, I won't even count the black swan that we had in March of 2020, but we still wound up getting like a 50% correction before we wound up going off into the next bull run. Now, I want to be very clear. I am not necessarily expecting a 50% correction. And, simply put, if you're looking at these volume profiles, like if we go 50% from the top, like let's go to the top of the wick. All right, I'll just line it up manually here. 30% would be the 34.4 POC of the macro range. This is kind of a likely level to get hit, in my opinion. Not that we're going to dump there right now. But, if we hit this level, I would not be that surprised, especially if you're looking at the volume profiles. Now, getting down to the value area low of this level would bring us to a 41% pullback. Right now, again, we've seen things happen, crazier things happen before the actual next bull market, which we just showed, the 50% dump in 2019 and 2020. But what happens if we actually came down 50%? Is there any key level down here at 50%, right? Well, there is, right? So at this 50% level brings you down to about $24,000. Is this possible? I mean, listen, we've seen crazier things happen in crypto, but and again, I show this all the time. This is more for anybody who is new to the show. After we peaked out at that macro golden pocket in 2019, we got a black swan event that ripped us down to the macro 786 retracement right here. Now, if we saw the same thing happen and history did repeat itself, we would be looking all the way down to about $22,668. And that would be that would be about a 54% decrease in price. So even if we came down to test this golden pocket, which, and again, I do think if we're going to come down to 22K, guys, I'm not calling for a $22,000 Bitcoin. I want to be very clear, right? I'm not saying Bitcoin's going to 22K, but I am saying we've done it in the past to hit this macro 786. And if we came down to that value area low and got some kind of black swan event, maybe that could push us down to the 22K level. But until then, I think this is a little less likely. If we wind up coming down to the POC and the value area low of this macro range, and things look really bearish at this golden pocket, like if we come down to the POC, down to the value area low, and things start to get really ugly up here and it looks bearish, maybe then we can look for the move down to the 786. But as of right now, I think it's a little less likely. But what I would be more inclined to look for is going to be a level a little bit higher up, right? And it would be the 786 retracement when pulled from this impulse, but right before we filled this entire volume profile, right? And this 786 is in beautiful confluence with the value area low of the macro range, right? So this would actually only bring Bitcoin down to about $30,000, right? Between 28.8 and about 30,100. And this lines up with a lot of other technical factors. This gives the golden pocket nice confluence on your point of control, right? That would make this level very, very saucy to look for some kind of a scalp. But then if you broke down, this would kind of be the big level. If we did get lucky enough to come back down to this value area low, guys, I am buying more spot Bitcoin down here, big time, right? Because, and again, I want to be clear. I would consider, if we got down to this level, I would consider this a lucky move, right? I'm not saying it's very likely, but definitely would be a great place, in my opinion, for me to pick up spot Bitcoin, because you should not be making your decisions based off of what some crazy guy on YouTube says. But a lot of really nice confluence here. Value area high of this local range comes right in between that 786 value area low. And then even to come in at that 50% drawdown, right? If we do get that 50% dump, which, again, I'm not calling for, but I'm just saying if we did get that 50% dump, guys, it does bring you right down to the value area low of this local range, which we could be looking at. Because remember, when price leaves an area of balance, which would be this giant range here, it's going to hunt the next likely area of balance, which would be right here. So if we break down, go to the POC, break the POC, below the value area low, we lose the range, you're going to get accepted into this area of balance, and the next high probability place to look for a long, in my opinion, would be the value area low of that range, which gets closer to $25,000. So, in my opinion, these are a little bit more likely levels to look at, but really, let's get to 34K. I'm not even saying 34K is likely, but these are just the key levels we need to be looking at if history repeats itself and we see some more bearish price action and we see a big pullback before the halving in the next bull run. So again, not calling for the levels, but they are definitely indeed important levels to watch. Now you might be thinking to yourself, well, if those are the key levels on Bitcoin, what the heck is going on with ETH? Well, we're going to show ETH like you guys love. Shout out to Wayne C. says, Rob's on a train somewhere lurking. Well, shout out to Rob the Crypto Snob out there lurking on trains, bro. Are you like a bandit? Let's go. Shout out to Rob the Crypto Snob. Let's see. You guys are wild. Shout out to Darren Does Things. Says, Tony, don't be a lurker. Smash that like button. Tony, did you get your milk? Let's see. Rob called in sick. It's okay, Rob. It's okay. You don't even have to let us know, bro. You're goated, bro. You're an absolute goat. So, let's see. Shout out to Stupid Bitcoin. Said, yo, Frankie, does anyone even trade ETH? Well, I'll tell you this, Stupid Bitcoin. And by the way, we're working on making you smart Bitcoin. But I will say this. I should trade ETH, right? I should trade ETH more than I do, right? Because ETH just basically does what we tell it to. But obviously, we rejected our value area low up here. Thank God, because I am looking for a long opportunity. And, I just like to be transparent with you guys. I am looking to pick up I'm looking to pick up ETH, right? Not even bad at these prices, right? I'm not saying we can't go lower, but I will probably be picking up a little bit more spot ETH and maybe even moving some things around to buy more Ethereum for some pretty specific reasons, right? You have to understand that, number one, one of the reasons I'm looking at buying more ETH is because we're knocking on this door, right? Just because we got the rejection doesn't mean we're going to zero, right? We have now come up and tested this level, obviously got the rejection, but this is a very key level, and we showed this a lot, right? this is the same value area that we were looking at on Bitcoin, right? And that's that May 2022 range. Let me hide the macro volume profile. Let me hide all this local TA. And then we will simply get rid of these and look at the May 2022 value area, right? So you have the top of the bull market, first big dump, first area of consolidation. Let's go back to ETH. You have the 2021 top, first big dump, first area of consolidation, same exact range, right? Just flip back through them. Boom, boom. Oh, come on, stop resetting. Boom, boom, right? Same exact area of consolidation. So when Bitcoin was knocking on this door, guys, we expected to potentially flip this level to support, right? Came back up, flip that level to support, and that is where we expected to flip this range or fill the rest of this range all the way up to about $3,000 or $31,800. And this could be the trajectory for ETH. And even if we get a bigger pullback, I will be looking, because you have to understand we have the Ethereum ETF narrative, and you have to remember that is basically what was fueling this entire move to the upside on Bitcoin. Oh my God, Bitcoin ETF. Oh my God, Bitcoin ETF. Let's ride it up, ride it up. Oh my God, it's approved. Sell the news, and then you get the dip. And we could see something very similar happen to Ethereum, where we start to see that Ethereum ETF give us a lot of that, give us that bullish narrative to create the buying pressure, and then once we crack this level, very likely to fill up to $3,183 and potentially even come to some higher prices. And we might drop another Ethereum price prediction video, because in the last price prediction video we looked at some levels a little bit higher, but we may even want to go a little bit more bullish if we see Ethereum catch that bullish narrative of the ETF and we start seeing some bullish price action. Now, on top of that, we did get the obvious money flow crossover into the green here on the weekly time frame, which was obviously the same thing that sent Bitcoin absolutely flying. And Ethereum, although we did get the pump, we have not broken into this value area. So if we get up here, guys, that is where I'm going to be looking for that range to fill. And locally, we were looking for very key levels of resistance or support to get held on the way back down, giving us some potential entry opportunities, right? Because we lost this value area low. Next place was to come test the value area high. We got the bounce, acceptance back into the range, right? And this isn't just, let me come down to a lower time frame. This isn't just like we're not guessing here, right? These levels are interacted with. If you go down to a lower time frame, you'll actually see us get stuck underneath that value area high before coming back down to where? The POC. Now we are stuck below the POC, and we are looking to potentially come back down to the value area low /786 confluence at about right here at about 2144. So this is the next key level of support, 2156 to 2143. And then we also have our liquidations, a little pocket of liquidations sitting here between about $2,500 and about $2,000 even. So what I would be looking for, guys, if we could come and actually tap this value area low, this is kind of where I would be looking for a potential either scalp long or even maybe picking up some ETH on spot in anticipation of potentially coming back up. The one thing that has me worried is this weekly red dot. If this weekly red dot confirms, likely there's more downside to come. And if we come down a little lower, where are we likely to see? Well, we break down below that value area low. We have to be very cautious around this liquidation zone, because if we start liquidating and stopping people out over here, it's going to cause likely a little bit of a panic wick to the downside, or liquidation wick to the downside, where your next key level of support would be right down here at about 1923. And then the super key level, in my opinion, is really going to be the POC of that range, which is sitting at 1850. And the 1850 level, guys, has been key for so long, right? Like, we were looking at this level. It was key support here. And then once we lost it, we were looking for more downside. That was indeed the key level that you didn't want to lose. We got the massive push to the downside, big consolidation. It wound up being serious resistance on the way back up. So if we do come back down to that level, we may go and test that previous value area point of control before, come here, hit those liquidations, panic wick. If we don't bounce off the value area high, I'd look for the POC to potentially be that area to get a strong bounce. Now, that is only if we lose. That is only if we lose this this value area low decisively, and we take out these liquidations. Other than that, your next local area of key support is literally just the value area low, and we are at the low of the range here. So maybe we'll maybe we'll look to take some scalp trades on Ethereum. We got the money flow crossing over into the green, 16-hour green dot confirmed. Not necessarily beautiful confirmation there, not lining up. The green dot is already confirmed on the 16-hour, but that 1 hour money flow could wind up giving us a move up. I would like to come test that value area low, though. Let me extend this. Yeah, I would really prefer to have this value area low tapped, or the 786 as well. So those are the key levels on Ethereum. But other than that, really, yeah, green dot printing. You don't have a bullish divergence here on the 4 hour. What I would really like to see here, guys, if I were able to get a move down here, either hit the 786 value area low or deviate below and put in 4 hour bullish divergences, something like that, that would be a good indication to me amongst other. I wouldn't take the trade just based off the div, but this would let me know, like, hey, once I start seeing price come down here and make the lower low at this key level, once I'm in this blue zone, this is where I'm like, okay, pull up exo charts, pull up the order flow, pull up the heat maps. Like, look at this is where I'm looking for the confirmations to potentially enter the long position. If we get the confirmations, looking to go to the POC and potentially back up to the value area high, where we do need to be careful of the same thing we're looking at on Bitcoin, which is a potential lower high to come in to continue that downtrend, right? Just because if we get a bounce here does not mean that we will not see these levels. It just means, really, if we're going to see these lower levels, we're not going to know, right? Like, if we get the bounce, if we get a bounce here, let's see we see that 4 hour bull dip, that situation I just went over. Let's say we actually get it. If we get a move up to that value area high, got to be careful of the lower high to come in, because we might get the bounce first. We don't know. Nobody knows what's going to happen first. If we get the bounce first and then we get super bearish confirmations at the lower high level, which would be the value area high / golden pocket, you could look at this local golden pocket probably. It's a little higher up on ETH, to be quite honest with you. But it all depends on what happens to this price action. If the candles come back down, we're going to pull the fib lower, right? But you can also look at this local impulse back down. Pull your fib from there. You have somewhat confluence. It's honestly not as good as Bitcoin, to be quite frank with you. No pun intended. But value area high, these are now levels of resistance. So let me go ahead and label this as resistance. And there you go, right? So really this kind of whole zone, golden pocket, value area high. So we come up here. If we get super bearish confirmations, we could look for a short and potentially anticipate a break of the range to come take that liquidity and potentially come down and test this lower range between 1920 and 1750, with 1850 being the key level in the middle. But it's all about an if this then that statement. We do not know what is going to happen first, but that is what I'd be looking at. I would not be FOMO shorting at a value area low, because a bounce is not unlikely here, in my opinion, just because it's key support. You just don't want to short support. My trading rules do not allow me to short support, right? So got to listen to the rules, right? Or we could break them too, I guess. Shout out to Trade Mate. Thank you so much for that super chat. Said, can you give me some lower key levels to look out for on SEI? Shout out to Trade Made. If you guys want to see your favorite altcoins, go ahead and spam them in the chat. I forgot to say that. Go ahead and spam those altcoins in the chat. And I guess Tony the Crypto Snob will count up the votes and let us know what alts we're looking at other than ETH. But yeah, Tony, if you could add SEI to that list, that would be super helpful. And there you go. Shout out to Dave P. Said, hello, everyone. Dave P. What is going on, bro? Shout out to you. Yeah, Wayne C. wants SEI as well. Cool. Okay, Tony D said, at Frankie Candles, nah. All right, well, we'll just freeball it. Shout out to Tony D. Let's see, alts under the super chat. Let's see. Oh, Tony D with the eyes and the mouth. Oh, God, just mouth breathing in our ear there, Tony. Shout out to you. Those emojis are hilarious. How can you have coffee if there's not any milk? Shout out to Dave Digital. Tony D needs that coffee, or needs that milk for his coffee. But let's continue on. Shout out to Dave P. Says, much love back, bro. But let's go ahead and continue on. This is basically what I'm looking at for ETH. Being very careful. This is definitely a level of support. And now you guys know what's likely to happen, not only if we break this level of support, but also if we get the bounce. Now, I did forget to talk about this on Bitcoin, guys. I want to be clear. There is a line, right? Regardless of the money flow. Remember, we talk about this a lot. Money flow coming out on the daily. This is definitely bearish looking to me, right? As far as market cipher, as far as money flow, this is definitely bearish. But we have to be very careful, because although the money flow is coming out, oftentimes when you're in a big uptrend like this, sometimes you can get faked out, right? You can get the money flow to come into the red slightly before you come back into the green, right? Same thing here in the bull market. You can see we came down, dipped into the red. Right here, we came down, didn't dip into the red, and just came up into a bigger green wave where you might have been feeling pretty bearish here. Like, oh, my God, money flow's coming out. Or even here, oh, my God, money flow's coming out. We just got this big dump. This is bearish. We're going to zero. And then what happens? You get support on the zero line, and then, boom, you just go off into the bull market, right? So we have to be careful of this happening as well. So what I'm actually looking at, there is an invalidation point to look for the short. And in my opinion, it's pretty simple. And it's going to be two key levels. Key level number one, $44,000 or $43,900 at our previous value area high. If we get a move back up to this level and we start flipping this level to support and we're not getting bearish confirmations, right? And we are just we're just building support up here. This is where we could potentially come and take this high, right? And then just go up to make a new yearly high. But it's an if this, then that. Because if you come up here and you're getting bearish divergences, low time frame money flow coming out, you're getting order flow confirmation saying we're going down, this is where you are going to be looking for a short. But it's, again, that's why we are level-to-level traders, right? I am looking for confirmations at the level. We wait to hit the key level, assess the situation, and this is how you stay out of a bad trade, right? You come up here. If you don't get the bearish confirmations to go short, chances are you're going to break out, right? So, and once you hold that support level, 4-hour candle closes, multiple 4-hour candle closes, etc. That's where I would look to come take this high and get a move up to another yearly high where we have our next key levels of resistance, which in case I don't think we're going to see this happen tomorrow, but I do want to make sure you guys are prepared if and when we get that move to the upside. And simply put, the key levels that I'd be looking at above us are simply going to be, actually, let me come up to the Bybit chart. Next key level of resistance would be, let's pull this up. What are we doing? Oh, is this not marked on this? It's not marked, but I will just pull it up live here, right? Next key level of resistance, simply put, guys, looking at the bull market volume profile, right? Bada boom, bada bing, right? Value area high, the Bybit value area high comes in at about $54,668, right? Now, again, not expecting this to happen anytime soon, but if we did get a move to the upside, that would be the next level of support, of resistance, right? Key level, because you have to remember, simply put, we are just in a range. We are oftentimes, almost all the time, within an area of balance that can give you insight into what price is going to do next, right? And at this point, if you're looking at this volume profile, this dump, right, from the golden pocket could just be the cool-off at the POC before getting our move up to the value area high. Another key level to be looking at. But anyway, there is Ethereum. There is the Bitcoin break of the yearly high, and or the situation that I would look for if we break that yearly high. And then again, bullish case for Ethereum if we did get a bounce here. Again, looking for shorts at this purple box potentially. But if we wind up flipping this value area high / really, for me on Ethereum, we have to flip the 786 here. Yeah, I would just say this. If we're going to break this yearly high on ETH, we just got to flip the key value area low, which is, again, our doorway to higher prices, right? I'm sure a lot of you guys already have these levels marked on your chart because these levels haven't really moved. Shout out to the 671 people who are tuned in right now, live, concurrently watching this video. Smash that like button. We got 230 likes right now. Let's run it up to 550 so we can give away a Frankie Candles hat, maybe a caramel and black Frankie Candles hat, or maybe we'll give away my used HyperX headphones. I mean, shout out to you guys, right? We'll just give away used gifts. No, I'm just kidding, guys. Smash that like button. Let's get one of these Frankie Candles hats on the list. Let's see. Anna Maria says pink. Yes. Pink. The pink hats are available February 1st, I believe. Shout out to Tony D. Shout out to everybody. Yo, Michael. Mike Vito. Shout out to you, bro. Smash that like button. He said it, not me. TradeMate said it too. Smash that like button. I gotta get a like sound effect. This is the like sound effect, guys, is the GOAT. When the goats, you smash the like button. That's how we do it. But let's see. Bada boom, bada bing. Let's go, Mafia. Thank you, Frankie, for all the sauce. Shout out to Lewis. We dishing out the sauce every single day here. Speaking of sauce, guys, filmed quite a few videos. Quite a few videos earlier. So get ready, guys. We're about to be dropping some saucy altcoin breakdowns. We got a lot of content coming, guys. We got a lot of content coming. Super excited. Let's see. Yo, shout out to Joseph said, I like how you said caramel. Take that, caramel people. Yo, shout out to, is it caramel or caramel? Let me know in the chat, and don't get into fights in the chat. Let people have their opinions. But is it caramel or caramel? I don't know. I'll be honest. I think I switch back and forth. But anyway, let's see. Shout out to Tony D for dropping those altcoins. And let's start taking a look. SEI. Was it TradeMade? Was it TradeMade that was saying that they wanted low time frame or lower levels on SEI? Let's go ahead and take a look for them. Okay, so let me just make sure we're on the chart that we want. SEI. Think we are good. Okay, so a few things to look at here. Yo, shout out to Tony D. Thank you for the super chat, bro. He says, whoever says caramel equals banned. Shout out to Tony D. Oh, God. It is definitely a line in the sand, man. It's either caramel or caramel. Chemistry Bro said agreed. Oh, God, guys. The mods are on Team Caramel. So let me know in the comments down below, or let me know in the chat, not the comments, or I guess leave the comment too. But, yeah, let me know. Caramel or caramel? But anyway, guys, taking a look at SEI. Let's see here. Okay, so we are stuck below our value area here. So let me go ahead and extend this. And let me actually go ahead and get rid of these levels. And we'll take a fresh look here. So, all right, well, you swung failed. You got a nice little swing failure of this wick low, which is nice. That would have been a nice indication to get a push up. But look at this. Nice little rejection on that value area low. All right, let me zoom out a bit. Bada boom. There we go, right? Came up, barely retested that value area low. Did you get any market cipher A confirmations? You did. Oftentimes, guys, when you come up and test these value area lows or retest these value area lows, you will wind up, right? You got to be careful because if, like even here, you're actually getting some kind of, I'm actually haven't lost hope here, right? Because you deviated below the value area. You had some bullish divergences on the 1 hour, which gave you the bounce. But obviously, this is going to act as resistance until you break it. But oftentimes, price will come back up, retest the value area low, and then if you can get a confirmation like a blood diamond or a yellow X, that is where you're going to be looking for the rejection back to the downside. But let's see. So red dot printing on the 90-minute. Money flow is coming up, though. Daily green dot probably looking to print. There it is. Yeah, so in my opinion, very similar to Bitcoin, guys. Once that green dot prints on the daily, that is probably going to be when you get your next significant move to the upside, which, same thing. Money flow is trending down here, indicating the longer-term trend may continue to the downside. So if we pull our fib from the high to the low, we want to be very careful of the highest likelihood area to put in that lower high, which oftentimes is the golden pocket 786 retracement. And we'll do shorts, right? So if we get the bounce back into the range, we could look for a push up into the golden pocket, 786, value area high confluence. This could be an area to be looking for a potential lower high to come in before reversing back down and breaking the lows. And I think it was TradeMade. I think it was TradeMade that was asking for this. But some lower levels, if we do wind up seeing this money flow cross into the red and give us a downtrend as we would expect, the next key levels of support are honestly pretty clear here. And I obviously don't mean that in a condescending way. I just mean because I'm looking at the price action here, and there's just clear like stair steps here. When you see, let me come to a 4-hour time frame. I'm going to spit the sauce real quick, guys. Oftentimes, like if you're using something like a session volume profile or you're just pulling multiple profiles, right? Or you're like typically looking at session volume profiles, when you are seeing, right, when you're seeing the value area breakout, new value area, this is very bullish, right? Like this is saying that the fair price of value, the fair price of the asset, right, is rising, right? This is saying people agreed this was a fair price, and then people said, nope, this is too cheap, came back up here, and now this is a fair price. Right? And then you get another breakout, and now this is the fair price. This is bullish, right? I'm not saying this is bullish right now, but when you see, right, like when you're sitting here, you're like, okay, we found value, and now we have another higher value area. This is a clear trend to the upside, and obviously you could just look at the candles, but when you have multiple levels of value rising like this, that is oftentimes when you're looking for higher prices, which obviously wound up being the case here. So, and, you know, it's actually been doing it for quite some time. But in that same kind of technique, with that same technique in mind, you could also look at these levels on the way down. So naturally for me, when I have something like this, like I'm looking at the next value area below, However, you could simplify this by looking at the VPVR, or the VRVP, as some people call it. But it's VPVR, guys. It's VPVR. Trust me. I'm just kidding. That's what I say. It's actually wrong. It's actually labeled VRVP in TradingView. But you could see all of these areas of consolidation are assisted or aided or in agreement with these high-volume nodes, right? You got a high-volume node here. Area of consolidation, high volume node, right? Very high volume node, bigger area of consolidation. So I would actually look at this as a very, very, boom, right? So I would actually look at this as a significant value area. Now, this is if things get ugly, right? I'm not saying that we're coming down here, but just because this is the most significant, just because this is kind of the most local significant, or this is the highest volume node of all of this price action, I would be looking at this volume profile. If we came down here, this would be a very, very important level to be looking at, right? Or a zone, a very important zone, I should say. So right there. So I'm not saying you're coming all the way back down here. This is a pretty big drop. But if you did, this would kind of be like, oh my God, this is important, right? Because if we lose this level, you're coming way down. But and you can see that by your low volume gap here, right? If you lose this level, probably going to fall through it very quickly. Now, locally, the next key level I would look at, I would be marking off these shelves, right? So I would say, boom, right here. And then you have another shelf right about here. So these would be some key levels. Let's see if they line up with any significant fib levels. Boom. Okay, so your golden pocket. Actually, let me come up to the daily real quick. And let's pull this more locally. Okay, yeah, so I would pull this, right? Next key level, we're kind of at it, right? Golden pocket. Yeah, golden, like we're sitting at this key level. But next, I would be looking at the 786, right? And then you have your ledge of volume, right? So 786, maybe you see something like this, right? If we come back down, hit that 786, I would watch out for a wick below, but you also have to remember you have that ledge of volume holding you up. So even if you wick below that 786, you may be able to hold that shelf before coming back up and coming up for a nice little bounce. Now, with that all being said, below that, I would just look at this as a very significant shelf in volume, right? Sitting at about 41 cents. So key levels to the downside. Let's go ahead and make this support, right? Key level between 53 and 50 cents. If you lose that level, your real high volume node, which is the POC of this little area of consolidation, is at 45 cents. Another significant level, but really the key level here based off the Fibonacci's and the shelf of volume is going to be between 53 and 50 cents. You wind up losing all those key levels. I would be looking down here at 41 cents. And I think you're probably pretty good at that point. If we just start nuking through these levels, this is the real level to be looking at. And I would expect if you did come back down to these prices that, I'm, again, not calling for it, but if you did wind up getting all the way back down there, you'd probably hang out in this range just a little bit, right? A lot of interest at this level. Same with this level. This is like another significant level. So I would just kind of be looking. I mean, we could pull this actual range as well. Bada boom, bada bing. Yeah, I mean, simply put, just previous value area sitting right here. Make it neutral. Same thing. You have your value area high, POC, value area low, right? So those are kind of your key zones of support and resistance. And that's what I'd look at on SEI. All right, let's see. Let's see. Shout out to Arrow Pump says, Senor Candles. And Tony D, do a collab with @TraderGeo. He's the MC King. Shout out to Arrow Pump. Are you the... I think someone else told us that we should collab with Trader Geo. Let me write this down. I got to look him up. Shout out to Trader Geo. Someone said that he was speaking highly of me, and I appreciate that, Trader Geo. I'm going to check him out. That'd be cool. So shout out to Trader Geo, if you're out there, bro, and shout out to his community. So, yeah, well, I'll go ahead and check him out. Shout out to Crypto Naughty, said I might long SEI. Shout out to you, brother. Yeah, I mean, money. Oh, let's see. I'm not giving a trade setup here. But, yeah, I mean, you are below the value area. You're getting a bounce on the golden pocket. I don't see a specific setup or entry signal here. Does not mean that if you long here, it won't go up. I mean, you go long here, and you might want to be in a fire trade. I don't see anything particular, but I'm definitely not saying, definitely don't short it. I love when people are like, some people are like, I'm going to long this. And then someone's like, you're an idiot. It's going down. Like, that's not how it works. That's like, I like to be data driven here, right? But yeah, I'm just trying to see if there is any like loud screaming signal to go long. I don't see anything screaming, but again, does not mean that a long won't play out here, right? You have reclaimed the low of the range, which is kind of nice. And looking locally here, again, I don't love the money flow here on the 1 hour. In the green, back in the red, back in the green. VWAP below the 0 line is a little bit wonky looking, to be honest with you. But the thought process, if I were to go for a long here, this would kind of be, I personally wouldn't long this. Again, doesn't mean it wouldn't play out, but it just doesn't go along with my strategy or rules. But yeah, like you broke this range low, right? We cracked through it. You got back above it. Money flow came back up, and if we come back down and test that 786 and really come back to retest that key level, which is the range low, might be able to get a little bounce there. But I would treat it as a scalp, to be quite frank with you. All right, let's see here. Shout out to Thesis himself. Said, go to my super chat, bro. It's the most important ever. Shout out to Thesis. Let me cover this really quickly before we move on to the next altcoin. Let's see. Shout out to you, bro. He said, you would never say caramel apple, therefore it is always and will remain caramel. Bing bong. Hashtag caramellers go straight to jail. Shout out to Thesis himself on the caramel end. And then Tony D coming right back at him said, can I get a caramel macchiato? Starbucks barista. Sure. You can tap your card here. It's just going to ask you a quick question. Oh, I love it. It's going to ask you, those memes are hilarious. It's like everybody's just going to ask you a quick question. It's funny. You can tell they feel awkward saying it, too. It's like they're like, I know there's a meme about this, but I have to say it. Let's see. Shout out to Dave Digital said, be careful, Frank. You're alone, not a wrench in sight. Shout out. That's what was going on with the mod thing with Dave. Okay, shout out to Dave. And shout out to Jessica, our female CandleMafia representative, said, no mods tonight. Don't read chat. Oh, God. And then Dave Digital said, Trader Geo just challenged you to a duel. Swing. Shout out to Trader Geo and Dave Digital. I gotta look him up. Let's see. TradeMade said, can you give me lower levels on SEI? Hopefully that helps you out, TradeMade. And then last but not least, that was it. That's all the super chats. Shout out to Bubba's Crypto for gifting the memberships and the super chat as well. So let's go ahead and continue on to our next altcoin, which is going to be Filecoin. Let's check it out. We haven't looked at Filecoin in a couple days. Let's check it. My hair is getting a bit long here, guys, and it keeps coming down and tickling my eyebrows. Smash that like button if you like tickling eyebrows or sniffing hands. Anyway, let's continue on. Let's see. This is not the chart that we want. This is probably the chart that we want. And Filecoin, guys. Let's go to the weekly. I mean, if you are bullish on Filecoin as a project, still somewhat in a pretty good buy zone, in my opinion, right? Not financial advice, but, you haven't broken out of your little bear market value area. And here's the thing. You're still in your bear market range. You just got your money flow crossover into the green. And again, if you look at things like Ethereum or Bitcoin, and you just look at when their money flow wound up crossing into the green for the first time, massive upside followed, right? Bitcoin, money flow crossover right here, massive upside before, right after a little dump. But with that being said, Filecoin, like this month, this weekly, money flow just crossed over into the green, VWAP below the 0 line. Once that starts rounding off, you may be able to get a bigger move up here. Now let's go zoom into some of the lower time frames. Let's take a look at the daily. Not that that's a low time frame, but here we are, right? I don't remember exactly what we were looking at last time we looked at Filecoin, but we were definitely looking at this lower range as our next area of potential support. And if we lost this level, you'd be looking to come down to the POC and potentially the value area low. And, well, basically, we came down, bounced off the value area high, came back into our old range. Then we lost the range, got accepted back into that value area. Look at that. Breakdown, bearish retest, right to jail. Shout out to Thesis. Right to the POC. Right before getting that nice little bounce back to the upside. So if we continue down, your next key level of support is going to be the value area low at 442. And let's take a look at the money flow coming out on the daily, looking very similar to a lot of other stuff. Green dot printing on the daily, so maybe we get a little bounce off the POC. Key level of resistance now becomes your value area high, which does have confluence with a local fib. So I would watch this as your local resistance right here between 536 and 514. If you get above that, I would look to get sucked closer to your POC of the old range, which is up here, which would come in. Let's see. Let's pull the full fib. Pull this from this local high. Yeah, which I would look for that POC confluence to act as resistance. And then I would also look at the value area high 786. So these are kind of the zones as we continue up. If that money flow on the daily is going to cross over and give us that move, that continued downtrend to lower prices, I would be looking at these key levels as resistance, right? So we get above this purple box, I would simply be looking up towards the golden pocket 786. These levels could be where the lower high comes in before continuing down to lower prices, which again, your next key level is at 442. If you lose that 442 level, I would go ahead and let's see where our actual full fib pull is here. I would watch your 786 here at about $4.05. Nice, clear, and cut. Line that up. Bada boom, $4.05. If you lose that value area low, that is the next key level that I would be watching. And there you go. There is Filecoin. Market Cipher, as far as Market Cipher goes, it looks very similar to everything else. 90-minute money flow kind of coming up. Once that green money flow crossover occurs on the 90-minute, that may be where the move up actually winds up kicking off. All right, let's see. Shout out to Moon Boot Boy. He says, this used to be a family-friendly chat. We need a mod in here. Shout out to Moon Boot. I'm going to call you Moon Boot. Dude, your name like tongue twists me for some reason. Shout out to Moon Boot Boy. Moon Boot Boy. Is it Moon Boot Boy or Moon Boot Boy? I don't know. It's like a tongue twister. All right, let's continue on. Let's take a look at H bar. Let's see. Where's our H bar chart? Shout out to the H Barbarians. Let's see. All right, well, we did get nice support. Nah. I'm going to clear this. I mean, look at this value area, guys. This is, shout out to Butsinator. Thank you for the super chat. Said, dude, Punk or Punky is popping up everywhere. We could take a look at it. Yeah, I have seen a lot of people talking about it. Yeah, Moon Boot's kind of fire. Hey, shout out to Moon. Yo, Moon Boot says, Frankie, people call me Boots or Moon. You can call me whatever, big boy. I didn't process the big boy thing until it came out of my mouth. Shout out to Moon Boots. I'm going to call you Boots. Shout out to Boots. What's up, bro? Let's go. I feel like I'm meeting you for the first time now. Let's see. Yo. Officially, it's Island Boy. Shout out to Mark Touch. I don't know what's going on. 12 Big says you forgot ARB, Frankie. We could try to take a look at ARB. No problem. Yo, you guys are funny. We got Top G in the chat. Shout out to Top G. But let's continue on. So we're actually testing a pretty key level here, right? So you have your macro value area sitting right here. So let me actually go ahead and take off the background. Take off the histogram box, and then we will make our own value area box. Bada boom, bada bing. Neutral. There we go. So, yeah, this is very key because you have your, I mean, this is your, basically all we did here was deviate from the macro volume profile, right? So this is, let me grab this. Bada boom. And then let me just label these. Value area high. POC. Where is it? POC. and your value area low, right? So we're knocking on the door, right? We are knocking on the door. We simply, and look at the respect. This is, there was another coin where we pulled this local volume profile here, and we just simply came up, respected the dang levels, like came right back into the volume profile, flipped it to support, right to the value area high, back to the POC, back to the high, back to the POC, back to the high, back to the low, deviation, nuke, back into the range, lost it. Like, these levels are so respected, even though it was pulled from all the way back there. Now, yo, shout out to 12 Big, said, thanks, big boy. Yo, what is this? What is going on? Am I big boy now? You guys are funny, man. You're a guy. You can call me anything, big boy. Yo, wild. I can tell you guys something for sure. When we meet, keyword when, we meet in person, you guys are literally like, you guys are our people, man. Same humor. Let's see. Joseph says, if you get to be called Boots, I want to get called Jiggly. Or Jay Gilly. Yo, Jay Gilly is fire, Joseph. Jay Gilly is fire. Everybody gets a nickname. We just got TD in the chat, and that's not Tony D. That's Tyler Durden. Shout out to TD. But anyway, let's continue on. Shout out to Ziva Crypto Girl. I see you. Yo, God, this big boy thing looks like it's going to go a long way. Big Cavs boy, B-Rad Crypto. Let's get it. Yo, Nikki94 Boo said, cannot wait for a Frankie meetup. Definitely need a hotel that night. No driving. Yo, shout out to Nikki. Yo, you guys are too much. But yeah, here we are, right? As we come down, we are right. Look at the respect on this value area high, guys. Bounce off the value area high. But I would be careful. We tried to get sucked into this value area, and as of right now, you're kind of between two value areas. And if we wind up getting, I mean, these are the key levels, right? We're playing with a very key level. This is a potential doorway to lower prices. If we get stuck underneath here, we could be seeing a 6-cent H-bar somewhat soon. So, you know, key level to the downside, value area high at 60.06964. We lose that level, could see a somewhat of a quick move down to the POC, right? Because if we pull up the VPVR, you'd have a bit of a gap. It's not that intense, to be honest with you. Come on, volume. You could do it. There we go. Yeah, so you do have a little bit of a volume gap here down to the POC, which is why these act as magnets, right? You kind of fall through those gaps, get sucked to the high volume node, which is at 6 cents, right? So that is the next key level of support. And then, again, you know, you lose that level, probably going to be coming down closer to the value area low, where you also have a pretty significant fall off in volume down to the value area low. So these are the key levels I'd be looking at on H-bar. Daily money flow looking very similar to Bitcoin. As you can see, it actually looks pretty bad, in my opinion, right? So, you know, this is like looking to cross over into the red. You have a daily green dot, so maybe you get a little bit of a retracement. But if this daily money flow crosses over into the red, plays out like it typically does, we could see a bigger move to the downside, right? Get stuck under the POC, look to fill the whole range. So I would just be handling this, playing it value area to value area, in my own personal opinion. Weekly, VWAP below the zero line, not much to take away here. 2-day and daily, looking for those green dots, though. So I would look for a potential local move up before coming back down into that range. And if we lose that value area high, that's where we get more downside. All right, let's see. Yeah, shout out to Stupid Bitcoin said, price is a lost dog looking for a home right now. Yes, absolutely. Let's see. Dave said, I already feel two hands where they don't belong. Shout out to Dave Digital. Dave Digital, call for help if you need it, brother. Frankie Candles is here. Dark Crash. Shout out to Dark Crash. We're drinking that as the Andromeda Bounce Alien Scam Water here, Dark Crash. We're always staying hydrated thanks to you. He says, when BTCTA. Shout out to Dark Crash. I lost that joke, guys. I missed that joke. I'll never know anything. I'll never know what that joke was. Let's see. Give us the BTCTA, big boy. Shout out to Boots. But let's continue on here. Let's take a look at Manta. Whoops, we've never taken a look at Manta on stream. I have looked at Manta. All right, let's see here. So, okay, I would not. So yeah, nice little move on Manta. I love, man. I've been looking to pick this up, to be honest with you guys, but I was waiting to come down a little bit. But let's see here. Hard to do, right? Hard to do TA on this because we do have a pretty big lack of price action here, just because it's newer. Let's see, 2 hour. This is rough. Not a lot of price history here. Yeah, it's hard to do the macro analysis right now just because of the lack of price history. But what I will do here is give you the key levels, right? So I'd actually claw this back a bit. Let's re-pull that. Boom. Bear with me. Okay, I'll pull it on the 4 hour. Boom. Boom. Okay, so, yeah, nice little breakout here. Well, key level as of right now, let's pull a fib. Yeah, your key level of support, I would not be looking to pick this up at this moment. I would wait for some kind of a pullback. But nice, real, pretty clear level here is going to be this zone between $2.63 and $2.51. I was looking to pick up closer to $2, but we didn't get it, right? I was looking for a deviation below the volume profile before picking up on some Manta on spot before getting a bigger move up, but we just simply didn't get the setup to occur. So if this thing does wind up coming back down, I would be looking at that golden pocket value area high confluence to potentially look for either a long position or maybe start to DCA in just a little bit. And then just remember, you have your 786 high volume node or highest volume node or POC of all of this price action sitting in the middle of the range here. And then that value area low is sitting down here at $2.16. And when we look at the volume profiles, especially with a new project like this where or a new coin where we are, sometimes you just see these things scream to the upside, but really, I would like to come back into this range before buying the lows of the range, or at least the POC, or at least just somewhere near this range. I just can't buy after a big move up like that. And, sometimes they take off, but, I'd rather wait for a pullback and miss a move than buy and then just have it absolutely dump on me. So these are the key levels I would definitely be watching. Nice confluence, really, honestly, in this whole kind of zone between $2.63 and $2.43 is probably going to give you some kind of a reaction back up. But for me to buy spot, I would like a little bit lower, to be honest with you. But there is Manta. Let's see. Yo, shout out to Nikki, says, who's Frankie and what's TA? Are you talking about Big Boy and that saucy thing he does with his charts? Shout out to Nikki. Let's see. Shout out to Thesis, said, I need some credit for bringing Unify to the table. The Ponzi has amazing tokenomics. Shout out to Unify, or Unfi, I guess, is kind of how I would say it. Let's see. Shout out to Unfi. I got to look into this. I see people talking about this. I gotta look into that. Lost Prophet said, hey, yo, that's the word, Frankie. Shout out to Lost Prophet. What's going on, bro? Good to see you in here. Oh, my God. Word was bird. Now it's big boy. Yo, shout out to the High Bird family. All right, let's continue on here. Let's take a look at Illuvium. And if you guys like Illuvium, I actually did just shoot an Illuvium video where we break down the project for you. It's pretty cool. Illuvium's pretty cool. And it's been around for quite some time. All right, let's see here. Take a look at the daily. Money flow in the red. Pretty oversold here, right? Let me do this. Let me find some find some points of control. All right, I'll mark this. Interesting. Okay, let me go. Bear with me, guys. Okay. Trying to find the key levels here. Bear with me. Let's see. Value areas. Interesting. Okay. All right, let's see. So if we continue down, guys, big level I would watch is 59.26. If this comes down, I would continue to look at 59.26. That is going to be a pretty big level. Naked point of control, 786 confluence. We're hitting the golden pocket right now. So if this move does continue down in the macro, I'd look between 59 and $56 for a significant level of support, right? I mean, yeah, that is definitely what I'd be looking at. Now, if we pull some more local fibs like this, oh, yeah, we're losing that 7/8. Yikes. Okay. Yeah, this actual range, guys, is not as clean as I would have liked it to be. Yeah, this, like, we've lost this range, in my opinion. So, next likely place for price to go, if we do not get a strong bounce off this golden pocket, you could probably look for some scalps on this golden pocket. But if we lose this golden pocket, this is the saucier level, in my opinion. There's no guarantees that we get down there, but it is definitely going to be the saucier level. Now, let's take a look at the 10-hour. Little bull div on the 10-hour. Nothing really that promising, to be quite honest with you. 4-hour, same thing. You got triple snake eyes here on Market Cipher. However, no serious bull div. You have a slight bullish divergence, but yeah, it's not like the most beautiful setup in my opinion. But these are definitely the key levels that I'd be looking at. If you hit this golden pocket, could look for a scalp or look for a bounce, right? But if you lose that, this is the saucier level in my opinion. You got a point of control as well as the 786. Again, between 59.44 and 56.07. So there you go. There is Alluvium, and it does look a little different as far as Market Cipher goes. Money flow is already in the red, and the daily is a little bit oversold, right? So again, not impossible if we do come hit that golden pocket to get some kind of a retracement. And depending on how low price comes before we get a bounce, I would be looking at the value area low golden pocket 786 confluence for a potential rejection, right? So we come back up, look for the rejection back down off that level. Not financial advice. All right, smash that like button if you guys have not already. Nikki94 Boo said, "Okay, Dave, and pieces to the corner." And Crimson's girlfriend says, "Naked." I'm lost, guys. Chat is haywire. We have no mods. It's a free... Actually, no. Hang on. We got mods now. Tyler's here. Chemistry Bro's been here. I think Tyler's been here, too. Tony's been here. I think we're just letting everybody just go wild today. I don't hate it. It's kind of a slow day. I mean, price action's super boring. Even on the altcoins, it's like no real serious setups, in my opinion, here just yet. But with all that being said, let's go ahead and check the Wi-Fi. I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna... I was going to pull up my thing, and that would not be a smart idea. Anyway, let's see. All right, taking a look at Wi-Fi, or as some people like to call it, Giphy. Let's see. This is old, guys. This is super old. Wow. I can't tell you the last time I've even looked at Wi-Fi. Typically, it's sometimes we have a little bit of time goes by, since the last time we've looked at certain coins. But I look at a lot of this stuff on my own. Wi-Fi is something I do not check in on very often. Not because I think it's a bad project or anything, but I just don't check it a lot. But let's see. Yeah, I mean, still basically sitting in its bear market range here, guys. Weekly money flow crossover probably just happening, if not about to happen. Yeah, getting close to having a money flow crossover here. I'm going to make this simple on Wi-Fi. Never mind. It's not simple. I mean, hang on. Bear with me, guys. Kind of doing some silent TA today. Trying to focus on the levels here. Yeah, I mean, this is your support, right? This blue box is definitely your support. Even if you... I would love to come down to the value area low. Let's check the daily. Green dot confirmed. Not giving you much sauce there. 4-hour. Money flow starting to creep back up. So this is definitely a significant level to watch. If we continue down, your next key level is going to be the value area low, right? Simply put. Value area low sitting at 56.41, right about here. That is going to be your next key level. And to be quite frank with you, no pun intended, kind of what I would look for here, guys, if it comes down, right? If we come down, let me spawn this volume profile. If we come down to this level, what I would be looking for, very simply put, would be, it's kind of far away to be honest, but if we can get a move down, right, to that 786, I'd be looking for some kind of bullish divergence on the 4-hour to look for a potential position back to the upside or buy on spot, etc. In my opinion, like for me, if I were DCAing into Wi-Fi, what I would be looking for is I'd probably start the DCA here, right? And then as we move in, DCA, 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 and then maybe looking for a leveraged long position if I were trading Wi-Fi at that value area low with bullish confirmations on the medium hourly time frames. And that is how we do it for Wi-Fi. All right, let's see. Let's see. Shout out to Thesis. Thank you for the super chat, bro. Yo, Thesis crushing the supers tonight. Thank you, bro. I appreciate you, brother. He says, you have to use my Unfi chart I sent via Discord in order for the TA to make sense. My youngest son got emoji happy with my charts. Yo, shout out to Thesis. I got to check that out, bro. For sure. I got to check out Trader Geo. I got to check my DMs. I have a couple of DMs I have to, DMs that I have to look through. And let's see. A Frankie Candles remix is in post-production. Hashtag Frankie Fakeout. Shout out to Stupid Bitcoin. But guys, with all that being said, I think that's all the time we got for tonight's live stream. Pretty boring price action, to be quite honest with you guys. Looking for Bitcoin to make that move. And if you missed that TA, go ahead and scrub back to the beginning of the live stream. We covered the long term, the short term, the medium term, the micro term. We covered everything on it. But again, remember that next real key level based off the volume profiles, guys, is going to be that value area low at about 37.6 to 37.7. And there we go. Shout out to Jessica, says it's 84 today. I assume that is down in the way more south than we are because it is cold out here in the ATL. It's been very cold recently. Let's see. Augustine, Florida. Shout out to Joseph. Yeah, I'm sure it's nice down there. Yo, he said nice down here too. But guys, with all that being said, I got some stuff I got to take care of. We got a lot of stuff working behind the scenes. Like I said, we shot a whole bunch of videos today, a lot of extra content coming, and we are going to be changing this live stream just slightly. You guys will notice that we are slowly making it closer to a 1-hour live stream, which is going to wind up ending up with tons of extra sauce for you guys, and maybe, just maybe, we don't know when we're going to get to it. We're trying to make these changes nice and slow to make sure we do them right. But dedicated altcoin streams? I don't know. But with all that being said, guys, that's all the time we got. Shout out to Maybe a Band-Aid. Thank you for the super chat. He said Wi-Fi spends time in the 5K region. Anything sub 5K price tag is a steal. Degen that like button. Shout out to Maybe a Band-Aid. Dropping that Band-Aid sauce in the chat. I appreciate the super chat and that Wi-Fi sauce. Thank you all for tuning in. I appreciate every single one of you guys. I would not be able to do this without you. You guys know that. I appreciate every single one of you. I'm not just saying that. I mean it from the bottom of my heart. And with all that being said, it's all the time we got for tonight. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Same place, same time, right here, 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on the Frankie Candles YouTube channel. That's all I got. Frankie Candles out. Bing bong.
I need all the wins, yeah. Ain't no L's, I gotta get it, no call and quits, yeah. Gotta keep on moving no matter how hard it gets, yeah. Better move out the way, cause I'm coming with harder hits. My head is as hard as a brick, but I'm harder than all it is. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. My heart on my sleeve. Shield my greed. That's how I get it. Success ain't no giving. Some days I don't eat, I don't sleep. When I'm focused, I'm dangerous. They don't want it when I'm anxious. Ain't no limit till I tank. I'm running on fumes. The opposition don't amaze. The roads racing through the pavement. Get your hands out of my bag. I know this because I've been in it. I don't need to brag. I guess that's what happens when you taking care of your business. But some family, you do the math. I'm out of my pocket. Houston, we got a problem. I ain't perfect. Let them watch me elevating. Got them knocks. Cause I'm the pilot in the cockpit. Nose diving in the house. And whoo. Watch how I get ahead. Watch how I get ahead. Watch how I get ahead. Watch how I set it up, bet you I shut it down, watch how I get a win. I don't think they really wanna come against the winner, got a finger run up in on a grenade. I ain't never been there when you think you compare, I'm a line, but the winner about the cage. I need all the wins, yeah. Ain't no L's, I gotta get it, no call and quits, yeah. Gotta keep on moving no matter how hard it gets, yeah. Better move out the way, cause I'm coming with harder hits. My head is as hard as a brick, but I'm harder than all it is. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out.
Dude, it's all good, bro. No, you're good. Dude, you do not have to be in every single stream. You literally are our biggest sponsor, Golden. You're good, bro. Dude, Golden, the Mafia's looking for you because they love you. It's okay, bro. Don't feel bad about missing one stream, dude. No, we love you. We appreciate you, Golden. I'll tell the Mafia. Well, I can't tell them. I already ended the stream. I can't tell them you said hi. But tomorrow, you tell them because we know you'll be there tomorrow. All right, bro. All right. Thanks, dog. Oh, we are live. We are live. Well, shout out to Golden, guys. That was Golden on the phone. He was saying he's sorry he missed the stream, but he said he maybe, potentially might gift some memberships at a later date. And if you know Golden, he's definitely telling the truth. Shout out to maybe a Band-Aid. There you go. Filling in for Golden, dropping those memberships. Let's get it. Shout out to maybe a Band-Aid. You're the GOAT. I appreciate you. Thank you for filling in for Golden. And with all that being said, I'll see you guys next time. That's all I got. Shout out to everyone who just got a membership. Hasta pasta. Same place, same time. Frankie Candles out. Bing bong.
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on the roll, here we go. Yeah, we winning by a landslide. Never see me coming on my landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command, like, yeah, you about to see me on demand, like, you know, on demand. If you ain't know, you about to understand. Yeah, I got the team by my side, right hand. Yeah, take it to a string, you ain't seen it like that. Yeah, and it's the dream, and we coming for the bag. Yeah, and we ain't ever going back now. Future expedited, now we on the fast track now. They won't lend a hand, now they see us on the map now. It's time to act out. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on the roll, here we go, yeah, at the top of the class on a roll, ayy, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know, yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, yeah, on the roll, here we go.
Shout out to Dark Crash. Bing bong.
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on the roll, here we go, yeah, at the top of the class on a roll, ayy, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know, yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, yeah, on the roll, here we go.